Okay. As David mentioned, we're going to record this meeting as part of our public process. Just an overview of our agenda tonight. We're going to introduce the team and others who have joined the meeting. We're going to give an overview of the Willamette Water Supply System, the water treatment plant itself, and then the schedule and next steps. And then we'll answer questions and listen to comments. So as David mentioned, we're recording. If it is possible for you to stay on mute for the remainder of the meeting, except during introductions, that would be helpful. There's a chat function as part of this meeting. You'll see a little box on the lower right-hand corner of your screen where you can type a question or comment, or you can raise your hand. There's a little hand icon if you would like to do that. And then we will repeat your question aloud and then respond to those questions. And then this meeting will also be able to view it at a later time since we are recording it. So first I'll do introductions of our team and then have the members of the public introduce themselves. So my name is Marla Smock. I'm with the Willamette Water Supply System. We also have from the Willamette Water Supply System team Joe Dills, Shayna Rayberg, Matt Gribbins, Libby Bakke, and David Marciniak. I see that Dave Kraska, the program director, just joined as well. And if we could have members of the public introduce themselves.
Andrew, can you unmute? There you go.
Oh yeah, I'm actually a sales representative, an engineer that's working on this project, so I'm just trying to learn more about it.
All right, well, welcome.
Great, welcome, thank you. Okay, so an overview of the program is to provide a cost-effective, reliable, and resilient water supply system by July 2026 that benefits current and future generations of the communities we serve and supports a vibrant local economy. And this project is a partnership between the Tualatin Valley Water District, the City of Hillsborough, and the City of Beaverton. So an overview of the system. At the bottom of the map, the number one modified water intake is in Wilsonville. That's where we're going to draw the water from the Willamette River. There's a new treatment plant being planned. That's the focus of our meeting tonight, just east of Sherwood, the number 2 on the map there. About 30 miles of large diameter pipeline, much of it 66-inch in diameter. And then 2 water storage tanks we're building on Cooper Mountain in general, and about number 4 on the map, all to come online in 2026. So the water treatment plant that we're talking about tonight is located within the Tonquin employment area in Sherwood. We're going to initially produce up to 60 million gallons per day with a full build-out capacity of 120 million gallons. Again, the water treatment plant will use the same water source that the Willamette River Water Treatment Plant in Wilsonville utilizes currently. And construction is anticipated to begin as early as next fall, running through 2025. And again, the system to come online in 2026. So Matthew is going to take over some additional details of the project at this point. Matthew?
Sure, thanks, Marlis. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the water treatment plant site and the water treatment plant itself specifically. So the site's located at the corner of Southwest 12th Sherwood Road and Southwest 124th, just on the east border of the city of Sherwood. The owners purchased some land there that totals about 98 acres, around 100 acres. The water treatment plant site will occupy the south part of that property. We'll see it a little better on the next slide, but let me finish up here. So about half of that acreage will be allotted for the water treatment plant site. The area is zoned as employment industrial, so it's sort of more of an industrial area, and the project's subject to a conditional use permit and site plan review by the city of Sherwood, and that this neighborhood meeting is part of that process for the land use permit. Okay, next slide. This is a little bit more of a blow up of the area. The northern part of the site we are expecting to sell to light industrial, and there'll probably be some warehouses or something like that there. The water treatment plant will be on the south part of the site, the area just below the dashed line there. So we're just kind of south of that intersection of 12th Sherwood Road and south of 124th Avenue. Next slide. The site, you can see here again, the northern partition that will be likely selling off. We're conditioned to build part of Southwest Lake Street, which is the brown area that extends from Southwest 124th over to our west property line. You can see the water treatment plant in the white area just south of the Lake Street. And then there's some other features on the site. We have a PGE easement that has some high power power lines that run across it in the purple. There's an environmental wetland that's located in the southeast corner of the site that we're planning on preserving as part of the development. And then there's the blue area where we're going to have an area for the contractor to store materials and lay down things during the construction, and then that area will be turned into sort of a gravel storage area for after construction for the operations of the water plant. We're pretty much staying out of the southeast corner of the site where the wetland is located, and the red and yellow areas are kind of isolated from the plant site. So other than the improvements that we're going to do along Southwest 124th, we will really not be doing much in the southeast corner of the site and retaining that as sort of the native look to it. The reasons we chose this site primarily are related to the adjacency to our water pipeline. It actually runs down Southwest 124th and then turns and runs west on 12th Sherwood Road. So it's in close proximity to the pipeline that'll feed the plant and the pipeline that'll take water from the plant. And also it's a site that's based, it has a lot of rock, which is really stable for the water plant construction. And one of the goals of the program is to make this a resilient water supply that'll withstand an earthquake. So it's real important to us that it be founded on good stable rock, and that's one of the attributes of this site. This slide here, we're kind of showing again the water treatment plant, a little more current version of the plant layout, but essentially in the same area. We do have shown in the lower right-hand corner kind of the preserved area, so we're maintaining a preserved area where that wetland is located, and then also some buffer zones that'll be located on the west side of the site to buffer the site from the adjoining properties. And we're also, it doesn't show it on here, but also providing a buffer at the south end of the storage and laydown area that I talked about before. Next slide. Okay. So this is the blow up of the water treatment plant site. Like I said, our pipeline comes up from the south along Southwest 124th and will enter into the site on the east side of the site. It then runs through the site up down to the south side of the site where our treatment process starts, and then it flows by gravity through the water treatment plant through the various treatment processes, and ultimately after treated, the treated water ends up in our clear well, which is the big circular structure in the upper right-hand corner of the drawing. And from there, it's pumped out of the clear well into the pipeline that runs up the rest of the 124th and then turns onto 12th Sherwood Road and ultimately sends it up to the distribution system and the storage tank in the TBWD and CFD return areas. Actually, can you go back to the previous slide? Just a couple other things. So again, you can see Blake Street on here. It sort of borders the water treatment plant site on the north and the west side. We'll have a connection into Southwest 124th Street, which is shown in the upper right-hand corner of the slide. And then our entrance to our plant is down at the lower left side of the slide. You can see where the gray road comes into the plant there. And our administration facility and public-facing kind of areas are located on the south side of the site. We have parking down there, our administration building, and then some public kind of features that we'll talk about in a couple of slides. Okay. This slide just real briefly covers the treatment process. This process is pretty similar to the process that's used down in Wilsonville for their water treatment plant that pulls water from the same source that we're pulling our water. So it consists of some settling of the particulate matters in the water and filtration to take out the really fine stuff. And then we have some oxidation processes like the ozone and chlorine, and then the UV disinfection, which are all there to kind of remove the pathogens and things from the water. The table below kind of talks about the multi-barrier treatment that we have here, where essentially have two processes that kind of cover each one of the potential contaminants in the water. So if you look at, for example, trace organics, it's treated by the ozone process and the filtration process. So part of our approach is to take this multi-barrier approach so that we have really high quality water that's coming out of the treatment. Like I mentioned earlier, we have some public access amenities located down at the south end of the site where we have our admin building. We have a forest viewing platform that will provide an overlook kind of into the wetland area. We anticipate some educational signage there to talk about the wetland. It's a significant, what they call a cope pond, and it's a significant wetland feature in the area. And so we'll probably have some things there talking about that. And then the whole water plant itself will be accessible for educational programs. So if tours are planned, they can bring them in. We have space at the south end of the site to kind of receive those tours, and then plant staff would show them around the site and talk to them about the treatment process. So this is kind of the public-facing area at the south. The admin building there is kind of shown in the middle in the white. We've adopted this sort of water drop theme for the area, so you can kind of see the picture at the top with the water drops, and then how we've tried to replicate that in the landscaping with these courtyards. They're kind of circular and have water in them. And then there's a path to get over to the overlook area, which is shown on the right of the drawing. And this area will all be open during the day for people that come out to, access the plant, and then they'll be able to go out and look at the overlook through this public area. Next slide, yeah. And then I've got several slides here that just kind of show the various views of things around the site, so you can get a feel for the architecture and the landscaping. So this would be a view from the parking lot, looking over towards the administration building and that courtyard that I just spoke of, with some low walls there to kind of replicate the water drop theme. Go to the next slide. This is another showed on the previous slides, but blown up version of that forest overlook. We're kind of projecting it out into the woods there with some of the natural trees around it to give it a real kind of in the woods kind of feel to it. Next slide. And then we have a few views here along the street. So if you're on Southwest 124th, near where the new Blake Street will intersect, and looking to the southwest, this is the view you would see. We have quite a bit of landscaping to screen the water treatment plant and its operations from the road. The trees that are sort of screened back there are the road trees that are part of the roadway alignment, and then we have retaining walls and other trees and vegetation buffers to kind of isolate the plant from the road view. Next slide shows another view as if you were driving down Southwest Blake Street and looking up the plant. And again, the plant's fairly heavily screened from the road. So you see a lot of the vegetation and not so much of the plant structures inside the facility. And then the last slide here is at the entrance gate. So you can see the double gate there. It's kind of coming in and out of the site, and then again the vegetation that borders and the retaining walls that border the site to screen back from the facilities from inside the site. The next couple slides will talk about architecture. So we really tried hard to make this water plant fit into the natural environment. You can kind of see the goals there about being good stewards to the neighborhood and the environment, and then using materials and things that are safe and easy to maintain, and give it sort of a unique identity in the area, and the other things listed there. So we really tried hard to make it fit into the natural environment that was already there. Next slide shows some of the materials that we're using. This is one of the process buildings actually inside the water treatment plant, and you can see that we've kind of chosen more of the earth tone kind of colors with the browns, and we have the concrete, cast in place concrete on the right hand side that is one of our water holding basins, and then we've tried to accent those architecturally with some contrasting colors at the overhead door there in the middle, and lighting that breaks up the faces of the building a little bit and lets a lot of natural light into the process areas. And then we have a stair tower shown there where we've kind of screened the view of the stairs and given it a little more interest with the perforated screen wall. Construction plans. So we're currently working with a contractor to develop construction management plans. We don't anticipate starting construction until as early as maybe the end of next year. So we're working with the contractor right now to kind of come up with plans for a lot of construction logistics with them that prioritize safety for both the contractor and the public. We'll have fencing, and our main gate coming to the site will be off Southwest 124th, so that'll kind of constrain all the activities and the people on the site to the site area, with the exit being out onto Southwest 124th. And again, along with the safety, trying to minimize the impact of construction to the public. We have some early activities where we have to blast some of the rock out to make the site suitable for the water treatment plant processes. The rock there is sort of uneven, and so we have to level it out somewhat and take some of it out to make it work with our process. So a lot of that's going to just happen early on. And then part of our objectives are minimizing dust and vibrations and noise related to the construction, and being a good neighbor to
buddy, I'm gonna go
people
pee
that live
and I'm
around
gonna
there and the other businesses
stuff here.
We will have truck traffic coming in and out during construction, but again, it'll be primarily off of Southwest 124th and coming right into our site directly. And then after we finish the project and it goes online, the truck traffic will be fairly minimal, with the operations staff of probably 10 or so people on site that'll be coming into work in the mornings, and then some deliveries of the various things that they need to operate the plant, and then to haul off some things that are the residuals of the treatment process. Okay, and then, so the schedule, like we've mentioned a couple of times, we will be submitting our land use application in a couple of weeks, towards the beginning of September. We anticipate going through some kind of public hearing in the November-December timeframe after the city of Sherwood has had a chance to review the land use submittal. And like I mentioned earlier, construction is anticipated as soon as the fall of 2021. with construction primarily finishing in 2025 and moving into the startup of the water treatment plant and the operation of the water treatment plant, ultimately to have the whole thing online and operational in
Just
early
had a nice
2026.
helping of.
So that's the end of our formal presentation. So we'd like to open it up to questions, if there are any. David, would you go to the next slide, please? So we want to point out that we are collecting comments and questions through Friday, August 28th. We want to make sure to get those in the public record. So if anyone has questions or concerns they would like to submit by that date, the email address is there on the screen, info@ourreliablewater.org, or people may call the hotline phone number, which is also listed there on the screen. Thank you.
Marla,
Yes.
there's one, if Andrew Garcia, for the record, the city of Sherwood would like us to collect contact information from guests. Andrew, would you be willing to share your address and contact information with us? You could write it in chat, or you could email it to Marlis at info@ourreliablewater.org.
Yeah, I'll write it in the chat right now.
That's great. Thank you.
Set up a bit.
I'm a Vancouver, Washington resident. I don't know if that really matters, but
That's fine.
okay.
We're glad that you joined us. Thank you.
Okay, as soon as Andrew is finished there, if there are no other remaining questions, we'll just give it another minute here, and then we will officially close the meeting. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, David, I think that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the Teams, and you can stop recording.